ending and all those things, or it is there in the research report or not. Or we can say that, you take example of the project, or you take example of the, or we can say that any research. What we have to do is that report will be, we can say that the total abstract of that particular work, which that particular tenure period, either 1 month or either 2 months or 3 years or 4 years or whatever it may be. But the thing is, how far we are going to present the work, either in a presentation, either in a thesis, either in a seminars, either in a conferences, either in a even meetings also. And it should be, we can say that in the manner of there is a systematic, we can say that in a scientific way, or we can say that, research report should submit in the we can say that, systematic way, whether the report will be understandable, or the report will be in a scientific way, the report will be uh, how that, what is the measurements, what is the systematic way, what is the academic way. Now we are going to discuss, isn't it? What is the actually, we can say that, systematic way, and um, what is the, academic plan. We can, all those things we may consider for the research reporting. First thing what we have to do is, planning is required when we are going to uh, report the data. How we are going to write in a 20 pages we supposed to write, or 30 pages we supposed to write, or we can say that, 80 pages we supposed to write. With this, the report start from this particular, when we are going writing an article, what we say that, we'll put into the chronological, or we'll put into the first chapter is like that, second chapter is like that, third chapter is like that. That means there is a vision, there is a plan, there is a, uh, what we can say that, a systematic manner is required for that. And writing and revisioning, when we are going to present the research report or thesis, and whatever it may be, when we are going to writing, and hurriedly we can say that, when we are writing the research, because sometimes there is a stipulated period what we have to do within this particular period. Suppose you take a PhD thesis, it was around 3 to 5 years. What we have to do is, we will really work the start the work within from the first year onwards. Even though some technical errors and lacks, whatever it may be, up to 4.5 years, we are doing the research. Last 5 or 6 months, what we have to do is, there is no time, lack of time. What we have to do early, isn't it? So hurriedly we are writing the thesis. And finally, what we have to do is, after completion, after completing of the your research report, and sometime revise. Revise means when we are going to submit the report, we will check it out. Whether is there any lacuna is there, whether any lacks are it is there, we can check. Because is there anything we supposed to add, or anything we supposed to delete? That's what we can say that, writing and revise, or we can say that revive, or we can say that beautifully we have to present, or we can say, try to well organized with with the good plan or good structure, we can say that. And sometimes when we are going to write the thesis and revise the thesis, what we have to do is, how much of the data collected, all, whether it is Xerox pages, or whether it is a books, or whether it is journals, or whatever it may be, that you should keep it with you, because we don't know when when it will be helpful, either in a reference mode, either in a, footnotes, either in a reference mode, either in a bibliographical mode. We don't know where we are going to use. That means the total material you keep it with you. And another one is, uh, you have to, writing the report with end to with the starting to end. Don't leave some places, we will add it later, and the remaining places we have to write it down, we have to complete it. ఎందుకంటే many times what we have to do is, రీసెర్చ్ రిపోర్ట్ రాసేటప్పుడు ఏం చేశారంటే, ఒక చాప్టర్ ఇది రాద్దాం, ఇది ఒక పేజీ రాద్దాం, మళ్ళీ రాద్దాం, ఇప్పుడు టైం లేదు, సో ఆ పేజ్ వదిలిపెట్టి రిమైనింగ్ పేజెస్ దే ఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు కంప్లీట్. And finally, what they are going to do is they don't have time, so we have to submit as possible as early. They'll submit it. Not like that. When you are starting, beginning with the work and up to ending, you have to check, and again you have to revise where it is really required. See, the presentation will be beautiful manner. The presentation will be understandable manner. The presentation will be with the our topic or not. I don't know. Yeah, what we have to do is sometimes we have to divide or we have to write in the chapter wise, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5, as up to the mark what we divided, what we decided in the synopsis, or what we decided in the skeleton of our research. So based on that, we have to uh, uh, um, all those things. And sometimes, your text, when you are going to presenting the test within a systematic manner, in a disciplined manner, and particularly the presentation of the footnotes and a particularly presentation of reference, particular presentation of the bibliography. Sir, any specific styles? And already we discussed about the various style for the references. I already spoke to you. MLA style, API style, just like that, various styles are there. Based on that, the reference we are presenting or not, we have to check. And what we have to another thing is when we are presenting that particular research report in your institutions, um, you should put into the like in a systematic manner. What we have to do is left side and right side margin, up margin, and when we have to start the paginations, where we have to keep the headings, where we have to keep the subheading, where we have to put into the diagram, whether under the diagram we are adding the data or not. Each and everything we have to check and revise the data. And another one is editing. Regular before going to editing, what you have to do is either you are doing PhD, either you are doing research or whatever it may. What we have to do is, at a time we can't try to submit your thesis. What we have to do is ఎవ్రీ టైం మనం గైడ్ దగ్గరికి వెళ్ళినప్పుడు ఒక చాప్టర్, రెండు చాప్టర్లు, మూడు చాప్టర్లు తీసుకుపోయి చూపించేది, అంటే డ్రాఫ్ట్ తీసుకుపోయి చూపించేది, కరెక్షన్ చేసి తీసుకొస్తుంది. At the same time, in the research project also, what we have to do is, when we are going to complete the work, what we have to do is, what is the progress of your work? Draft you supposed to submit to your institution. Draft you are supposed to submit up to your guide or your supervisor. What you will do is, if any correction it is there, he will correct. If any laguna it is there, he will check. If it is any problem editing, or we can say that any revise, you supposed to do not you supposed to not to write like that. You supposed to write like this way, that way, because research is how many times you are going to edit, the quality of research will be produced. See, quality, or we can say that refine the research. Always it is going to move. There is no specific stipulated period. There is no specific end for the. And another one is editing. And during the writing the stages, you have to irrelevant data you supposed to edit, or the some data you should cut it here and paste it somewhere, and then additional data when we are where we are adding, you supposed to cut it, or we can say that this particular data is not required for this area. So most probably what we have to mm, sometimes data we are going to divide this in various stages chapter wise, or suppose some data is required, we can, some data it is not required, you can add and you can deletions, you can edit as per the requirement of the objectives and hypothesis. And we can say that sometimes we have to check grammatical errors if it is there, or sentence, if it is sentence is too long, you can cut it down with the short and sweet. We can say that. And sentence framing and a grammatical error, and also mechanical errors. What we have to do when we are arranging the on a spelling error or a grammar error, or we can say that a specific language, or they can say that not to use hard language. It use so common man can understandable language you supposed to use, and you observe it many times. You observe it many times, many thesis and dissertations, many of the external what they are sending. And you have to check. There are there are many places having spell errors. You have to check it out. And another one is, why don't you use grammar software, spell checker, and a grammar software, Grammarly software. See, because there are many, as you can say that grammar. How we are going to check? Sir, see, earlier we used to move for an English proficient person or English language person. Just we ask them, sir, is there any chance, please, can you do the grammar errors? Or we can say that spell errors also they can check it by the one particular expert. But nowadays it's not like that. There are many ICT tools are available with in front of you. You can apply the ICT tools with the spell check. We can say that with the grammar tools or whatever it may. They are free. You can you can put in your data, you can check it out as per your requirement. Whether it is any spellings is there, it will automatically correct. Whether any grammar mistakes are there, automatically it will error you, and it will warn you. This particular sentence having this particular this thing, a problem is there. You can check it out. See, these many facilities are available for the researcher today that you can opt it, you can adapt it, you can produce the fine quality of the research, you can produce the fine quality of the thesis, you can produce the fine quality of the report. We can say that you can produce the fine quality of thesis and dissertations and project report also with the help of the ICT tools. And we can say that um, they mentioned. Uh, I think in your book, you can check it out on 13.3.4, how we have to books and academic writing things should be there. Sir, sir, is there any specific difference it is there for the academic writings and the scientific writing? We can say that scientific paper, or we can say that a review paper or generalized paper. Yes, obviously, because when you are going to write an article for the standard journal, you can say that UGC journal, or you can say that international journal, or you can say that an Scopus and Elsevier journals. What they will ask, whether what they will ask means in the sense they have their own measures are there. Whether when we are going to write an article, whether we are reaching to that particular standard or not. One. Another one is your article is not so your article scope is not so small. It should be wide, and also whether your particular just a minute. Uh, so, is there any standard? And yes, obviously, because some standard institutions are they have their own standard, their own measurements. Based on that, they said that our journal is quality journal. Our we are following specific standards. And local journal, we can say that local journals are local. Publishers are not following it. Because that's what we can say that these particular journals are scientific. These particular journals are academic papers. So they have their own standards. Standards and the we are following specific measures. What is the measures? Whether you are following research style or not. I said that what are the difference you use? What is your sample? What is your survey? What is your see? Because many of the UGC, or we can say that many of the standard journals, they won't accept sample survey, general surveys. They need a broad area of work they required. They take example of the one particular state analysis, one particular We can say that national analysis in national-wide universities, or we can say that national-wide colleges, national-wide research institutions. The scope will be elaborate, and simultaneously, the work also work will be based on the scientific manner they are producing. Oh, 20 pages, 30 pages, రాసేది పడితే అది రాసేసి, oh, we are produced these many pages. It's not like that. Whether what you produced, quality is there or not. Isn't it? That we can say that, academic papers or scientific papers, we can say that the composition of the research, we can say that, uh, introduction part, what we have to write in the introduction part, the background of the thesis, or we can say that the background of the work, or background of the title, or background of the problem we have to write it. And then the body, I think, it covers the content of the total thesis. We can say that the chapters of the thesis we supposed to write that. We can say that from introduction to conclusion part, we have to mention all that. And terminal part, what we have to do is the conclusions, generations, we can say that the discussions, we can do summary, what it is finally we produced. We supposed to mention in the terminal part. That means the total work, the total research is reported into three parts. One is introduction part, another one is body, another one is terminal part. The strategy, structure of the strategies, we can say that what strategies we are going to use for the divide the your work, or divide the your PhD thesis, or how you are going to decide. See, usually either your particular these three or four is mandatory for the research thesis, or we can say that project, or we can say that general research also. PhD thesis. See, introduction part is mandatory for the any work. Another one is review of literature. Another one is methodology. What method you are going to use? What method you are going to apply for that? Another one is analysis, or we can say that interpretation of the data, and conclusion, and we can say that suggestions we can add it, and discussion. Last one is summaries. So these chapters usually we are going to use. ఓకే. నేను చెప్పేది అర్థమవుతుందా అండి? మీకు రీసెర్చ్ రిపోర్ట్ ఎట్లా రాయాలి, ఏం సంగతి అని చెప్పాను ఇప్పటిదాకా. యూ టు అండర్స్టాండ్ వాట్ ఐ స్పోక్ టు యూ? ఏమైనా అర్థమైందా? ఏం అర్థమైందో చెప్పండి.
అది మనం రీసెర్చ్ రిపోర్ట్ రాసేటప్పుడు సింపుల్ లాంగ్వేజ్లో రాయాలి. ఇంకా గ్రామర్ మిస్టేక్స్ కానీ సెంటెన్స్ ఫార్మేషన్
గుడ్.
అవన్నీ చెక్ చేసుకొని మనం చూ రాయాలి. ఇంకా ఇప్పుడు మీరు చెప్తున్నారు కదా సార్, ఆ స్టెప్ వైజ్గా అవన్నీ మనం ఏ మెథడ్ వాడాం, అదర్ ఎనాలిసిస్ ఎట్లా చేసాం, కన్క్లూజన్ కానీ ఇవన్నీ స్టెప్ వైజ్గా మనం.
Good, very good. And come to the this chapter. I said in introduction, what it is contain, what is your problem, what is your thesis topic. That thesis topic, historical background, we can say that total information we supposed to write on that. Sometimes it contains, the scope of the study. Sometimes it can the purpose of we are doing the research, why we are taking this particular project, what is the historical background of this particular title, and all those things we have to mention. What about the review of literature? Already we discussed about the review of literature. The review of literature is giving the information about the related of no, what is your topic that related. Is there any books are there? Is there any articles it is there? Is there any PhD thesis are there? Is there any survey reports are there? Either you watched or not. Whatever you watched, whatever you read, whatever you observed, that review of literature you should mention here. At least what we have to do is by the chronological order we have to mention, by the up or by the low, or we can say that top to top to bottom, or bottom to top, whatever it is. But we have to follow in a systematic manner. Another one is third one is we can say that methodology. which method we are going to use here, what it is, sampling techniques, data collection method. We can say that, which method you are using, what is your scope, what is your objective, what is your methodology, what is your hypothesis, what is your uh, limitation of your study, and what is the tools you used for the collection of the data, primary data, how you selected, secondary data, how you selected, tertiary data, how you selected by the collection with the application of various tools. That's all you supposed to mention in these particular methodology. Fourth one is analysis. What is analysis? The data which we already collected, and the data when we are applying with the various technical tools of on a research, that you can take the generalized data, you can take the Delphi technique, you can take the various seismograph, sociograph, histograph, various techniques we are applying, and we are doing the data analysis, and whatever the data we have to interpret. In fifth chapter, what it is contain, conclusions, whatever the data which we had in the analysis data, the same thing we have to conclude here in the fifth chapter. And suggestions, what is your observation in your analysis part, what is the observation in your total work, what suggestion you are going to make for the improvement of your research or the improvement of your particular work, or because lack of fund I could not complete within the period, so it is proper budget is required for that. Or you can say that, there is no specific fund, there is no specific infrastructure for the libraries, whatever it may be. If it is, you are going to give the suggestion for the improvement of those particular institution development with the based of your research, with the based of your project, with the based of your PhD thesis. See, whatever the work you have you completed in the stipulated period, ఇంకా నేను కొంచెం టైం మిగిలితే ఇంకా బాగా చేసి ఉండేటివాడిని, ఓ సజెషన్. లేకపోతే డబ్బులు ఎక్కువ ఇస్తే ఇంకా బాగా చేసేటట్టు, నాకు టైం సరిపోలేదు, ఈ ఏరియాలో చేస్తే ఇంకా బాగుండేది, లేకపోతే ఇక్కడ ఇన్ఫ్రాస్ట్రక్చర్ అరేంజ్ చేస్తే ఇంకా బాగుండేది, లేకపోతే ఇంకొకటి పెడితే మంచిగా ఉండేది, లేకపోతే ఇంకొక రెండు పెడితే మంచిగా ఉండేది, లేకపోతే లైబ్రరీలు అందరినీ వీకేసి వై డోంట్ యు అప్లై ఏఐ అండ్ వై డోంట్ యు రన్ విత్ ది ఏఐ టూల్స్ అని ఒక సజెషన్ ఇవ్వచ్చు. సి, conclusions and suggestions, interpretations are containing in the particular summary. Also, sometimes we can add it, or we can say that we can complete this particular area only, or bibliography of total of your work which we have been completed, we have been observed with the various books, journals, titles, survey report, మొత్తం కలిపి లాస్ట్ ఎండ్ లో పెడతాం మనం. బట్ ద సేమ్ థింగ్ వీ హ్యావ్ టు ఫాలో సైంటిఫిక్ మేనర్, ఒక సిస్టమాటిక్ మేనర్, అంటే ఒక స్టైల్లో పెట్టాలి, ఏపీఎస్ స్టైల్లో. అయితే మీకు లాస్ట్ టైం చెప్పినాను నేను, సార్ మళ్ళీ మనం ఈ రాసుడు, ఈ టైప్ కొట్టుడు ఏంటి సార్, ఈజ్ దర్ ఎనీ స్పెసిఫిక్ సాఫ్ట్వేర్ ఇట్ ఈస్ దేర్ అంటే, రిఫరెన్స్ సాఫ్ట్వేర్ టూల్స్ ఉన్నాయి, ఆ రిఫరెన్స్ ఎండ్ నోట్ కానీ, దెర్ ఆర్ మెనీ ఫ్రీ అండ్ ఓపెన్ సోర్స్ సాఫ్ట్వేర్ ఇట్ ఈస్ దేర్, ఎల్వేర్ నుంచి వచ్చినాయి, లేకపోతే దెర్ ఆర్ మెనీ థింగ్స్ ఆర్ దేర్. Just you add the data in that particular uh, what we can say that in our software, automatically it will reframe of whatever the requirements of API style, లేకపోతే MLS style, ఈ style మీ data entry చేస్తే that automatically the total data will appear in that particular your thesis. Another one is paginations. ఎక్కడ పేజ్ నెంబర్ ఎట్లా వేయాలి, ఏం సంగతి, up to some preliminary pages will be there. దాని తర్వాత what we have to do is numerical, then that we can Roman Arabic numbers, we can say that preliminary numbers will give the information about the acknowledgement preface, or we can use like in a tables and a list of tables, list of diagrams, list of abbreviations. That we can say that అంటే మెయిన్ బాడీలోకి ఎంటర్ కానంత వరకు ఉన్నటువంటి ఇంట్రడక్టరీ పార్ట్ మొత్తాన్ని we can say that we have to add it in a Arabic, what we can say Roman numerals. Roman numerals అంటే ఒకటి రెండు ఐ అంటే ఒకటి, రెండు ఐలు అయితే రెండు, మూడు ఐలు అయితే మూడు, ఐవి అయితే 4, అంటే ద సేమ్ థింగ్ we have to apply here. Then Arabic numeral font, I think you know very well about the 1, 2, 3, 4, as we are writing, as we are applying in ourselves and our kids also applying for that. And Where we have to mention the page number. Some people they may mention in the right side of the end pages. Sometimes they people they mention in the top of the right side. As per the requirement, as per their style, their own style of work. Based on that, they will apply. And preliminary section, blank pages, title pages, మన నెంబర్లు ఇస్తామా ఇవ్వము. So not even though we are not assigning that number for the title page, but also we will consider as a one page for that. And certificate of the guide, సర్టిఫికేట్ గైడ్ సర్టిఫై చేయాలి. బికాస్ ఇది మంచిగా ఉంది, మంచి చేసిండు మావోడు అని చెప్పేసి తనకి మావోడు ఇన్ ద సెన్స్ ద రీసెర్చర్ ఈజ్ డిడ్ ఇట్ హార్డ్ వర్క్ ఫర్ ది కంప్లీషన్ ఆఫ్ హిస్ రీసెర్చ్ వర్క్ అని ఆయన సర్టిఫికేట్ ఇవ్వాలి. ఎకనాలజ్మెంట్ షీట్ నేనే చేసిన, ఇది ఇంతకుముందు ఎవరు చేయలేదు. సో ఐఎమ్ గివింగ్ ది ఎకనాలజ్మెంట్ ఫర్ దాట్. అండ్ సమ్ టైమ్స్ దోస్ హు ఆర్ హెల్ప్డ్ ఫర్ యువర్ రీసెర్చ్ వర్క్, their name also you supposed to mention. And some people will help typographical or just a minute. So sorry. So with the I know acknowledgement we should. Some people may help you in the typography, typing area. Some people they may help with the funding. Some people may help you with the data provide. Some people may will and ethical support and moral support. Sometimes you are going to acknowledge them with their support. Sometimes some people, my thesis will be dedicated to my wife. My thesis will be dedicated to my parents. My thesis will dedicated to the my kids. Sometimes friends. Sometimes that we should acknowledge it and preface what we have to write it. And table of content. Table of content. What we have to write is chapters. How many chapters is there in your work, research work, and what is the subheadings? What is the page number have you assigned? And what we have to add it. We have to prepare a one particular table, and we have to add each and every corner of that particular, including bibliography tables, and including we can say that in appendixes also we have to something mention. Appendix లో ఏం పెడతారు సార్ అంటే డేటా కలెక్షన్ టూల్స్ ఉపయోగించినటువంటి your questionnaire, or we can say that sometimes people they may use of your profiles of your selected institutions, or we can say that sometimes you supposed to publish articles on your particular area. This is the same thing which you have to add it, because the table of content it will give the guide, or we can say that index to your total thesis that you should have mentioned. And you have to see properly when we are entering into the table of the data. And sometimes uh, how you are entering into the each and every area, we can say that sometimes headings will be center of the your pages. Sometimes some headings will be start from the left side. Sometimes heading will be start with the we can say that various part, capitals where we supposed to start. And main headings will be capital. The remaining all are the starting with the only one capital. It should be in a bold. Just like that, the subheading should be given in under the main headings. That number should be you should support put into the table of content and list of illustrations. How many tables are there with the page number? How many illustrations are there with the page number? How many figures are there? That title you supposed to mention. That page number also you supposed to mention. And each table what it is replicable, each graph what it is replicable, and it should be clear, logically planned or not. And the total columns of the headings, total columns of the figure, it should be, as per your requirement, whether the data should be in the center, the data should be in left side. Don't use the data should be in the right side. Only use left and center. And sometimes, may appear, parameters, calculated percentage also they will mention, but nowadays nobody is mentioning. Um, Appendixes. I said, what are the appendixes we should mention? Questionnaire we supposed to mention, and article publication we supposed to mention. Profiles of the institution we supposed to mention. Appendix, what sometimes what we have to do is, if we are going to submit your thesis to the external will give some suggestions. Why don't you add this? You can add it. Means we supposed to add also. It is part of the appendix also. So bibliography, I think what are the books we read it, journals and survey reports and conference proceedings and seminar proceedings. All are we should have to mention here. And when we are writing the and periodical items, we can say that author name, title of the article, name of the periodical, series number, value number, date of publication, page numbers, all things we supposed to mention of this particular research reporting. Sometimes, even not only writing the article, manner of academic and scientific research. Why don't we add in a manner of research report writing in the form of scientific way, in the form of academic report means when we are going to submit the report, that report should be based on your objective. The report should be based on your hypothesis. The report should be based on your aim, what purpose you are doing the research. That research result will be uh, as like or not, or uh, something changed or not. That report should be based on your art of your research work or not. That you should supposed to know. It should be no clarity of your research and the objectivity prakaram vachinda leda. And sometimes consciousness, sometimes detection, diction, or we can say that in appropriate expressions, we can say that on various systematic manners, various measures. I said for for that we our research work it is there or not. If it is not there, you supposed to do like that. ఏదైతే పద్ధతులు ఏదైతే మన సిస్టమాటిక్ స్టాండర్డ్స్ సైంటిఫిక్ వే అనుకున్నామో దాని ప్రకారం మనం రీసెర్చ్ రిపోర్ట్ రాస్తున్నాము. రాయకపోతే మనం అట్లా రాసేటందుకు వాట్ స్టెప్స్ వీ హ్యావ్ టు టేక్, వాట్ మెజర్స్ వీ హ్యావ్ టు టేక్ అంటే జర మంచిగా రాయాలి, మంచిగా సిస్టమాటిక్ మన ఆబ్జెక్టివ్ ప్రకారం ఉన్నదా లేదా చూసుకోవాలి, హైపోథిసిస్ ప్రకారం ఉన్నదా లేదా, క్లియర్ గా రాస్తున్నామా లేదా, ఎదుటోనికి అర్థమవుతుందా లేదా, లేకపోతే స్టాండర్డ్ లాంగ్వేజ్ యూజ్ చేస్తున్నామా, సెంటెన్స్ మంచి యూజ్ చేస్తున్నామా, ఫ్రేమింగ్ మంచి యూజ్ చేస్తున్నామా. All are may consider for the research report. Presentations, or we can say that statistical data. When we are presenting the data, statistical data in the tables and the charts, it should be clear, it should be systematic, it should be visible, it should be readable. చదివేటట్లు ఉండాలి, కనపడతట్టు ఉండాలి. పర్సంటేజ్ ఏది పడితే అది కాకుండా, లేబుల్స్ ఏది గది కాకుండా, ఏది పడితే అది వేసి ఆడ మనం కన్ఫ్యూజ్ అయ్యేదానికంటే the data which is available, the data which is showing in the table or a graph, it is related to your work. ఏదో నేను చేయాలి కాబట్టి చేస్తున్నా, రాయాలి కాబట్టి రాస్తున్నానే కాకుండా, it should be related to the your work and it should be easily understandable. Sometimes put into the data relativity. That's the same thing I said. Tables, graphs, charts are when we are going to construct it. It should be correlation or be clear. Our presentation should be understandable. Presentation should be clear. Presentation should be visible manner. Presentation should be uh, clarity is required for the presentation. Statistical data కావచ్చు, tabular form కావచ్చు, లేకపోతే charts కావచ్చు, graphs కావచ్చు, or we can say that general writings కావచ్చు. It should be clear, visible గా ఉండాలి, readable గా ఉండాలి, understandable గా ఉండాలి, అందరికి అర్థమయ్యేటట్టు ఉండాలి. These presentation of the statistical presentation data, it is mandatory for that. I said, headings and margin. Already I spoke to headings. ఎట్లా పెట్టాలా? Heading should be all in capital. Each and every main headings will start from the next page. నాకు చాప్టర్ 1, చాప్టర్ 2, చాప్టర్ 3 అనేది ఒక చాప్టర్ అయిపోయినాక లాస్ట్ పేజీ సగం ఉంటే అక్కడి నుంచి స్టార్ట్ చేయం కదా. అగైన్ విల్ స్టార్ట్ ఫ్రమ్ ది న్యూ పేజ్. సబ్ హెడ్డింగ్స్ ఎట్లా పెట్టాలి? సబ్ హెడ్డింగ్స్ విల్ బి స్టార్ట్ ఫ్రమ్ ది వేర్. 1 ట్యాబ్ తర్వాత పెట్టాలా, 2 ట్యాబ్స్ తర్వాత పెట్టాలా, దాన్ని బోల్డ్ లో పెట్టాలా, నార్మల్ వేలో పెట్టాలా, అండ్ సెంటర్ లో పెట్టాలా, లెఫ్ట్ లో పెట్టాలా, రైట్ సైడ్ లో పెట్టాలా. యూ షుడ్ సపోజ్ టు ఫాలో ఇన్ సిస్టమాటిక్ మేనర్. హెడ్డింగ్, subheading, subheading, again subheading, whether we are giving numbers or not, subheadings what we are giving, subheading what we are giving, subheading what we are giving. What is the differentiation between subheading and subheading? Is there any specification it is there? What is the method for that? Is there any bold? Is there any too large? Is there any too small? That we have to easily understandable, and all those things we have to consider. And another one is that should margin should be 5 centimeters from the left side, 2 centimeters from the right side. Why we are leaving the left side 5 centimeters? Because we are doing the thesis, or we can say that the project, or we can say that dissertation will be binding, or spiral, or we can say that one systematic manner. So compulsory we have what we have to do. 5 సెంటీమీటర్లు పెడితే 2-3 సెంటీమీటర్ బైండింగ్ పోతే ఇంకొక సెంటీమీటర్ మనకు మంచిగా కనపడేటందుకు, విజిబుల్గా ఉండేటందుకు ఆస్కారం. రైట్ సైడ్ అంటే కొద్దిగా సిస్టమేటిక్ గా నీట్ గా కనపడేటందుకు మనం రైట్ సైడ్ ప్లేసబుల్ పెట్టాలి. అండ్ కింది నుంచి ఎట్లా ఉండాలా, పై నుంచి ఎట్లా ఉండాలా, అండ్ 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 ఇంకొకటి ఏంటంటే రీసెర్చ్ ఎవాల్యుయేషన్ చేసేటప్పుడు వెన్ వీఆర్ డూయింగ్ రీసెర్చ్ ఎవాల్యుయేషన్ ఇన్ ద సెన్స్ ఫైనల్ గా ఒకసారి చెక్ చేసుకునేటప్పుడు వాట్ వీ హ్యావ్ టు డూ is there any specific error for that? Yes, okay. What are those errors? How we are doing, and where we are doing, and what is their revision? What is the editing? How we are going to do the editing? And if it is editing, it is understandable. If it is editing, it is related to your research work. If it is editing, the work will be a systematic manner. If it is editing, the work will in academic manner. If it is editing, the work will in academic paper or scientific paper, general paper we are writing. See, because there are lot of various disciplines, various subjects, various standards, various methods. When we are going to apply the research report, the report should be scientific manner or academic manner. That's why what we said, most of the people, what they will do is, before going to submit research, they will show us, they will show a expert person before going to submit. Before going to submit their thesis, they will show the expert person, means either a supervisor, either English person, either a subject expert, or either what we can say that familiar in that particular area. Subject expert means not only if you are doing the research, PhD in the area of bibliometrics. So sometimes you supposed to show them in bibliometric person, sometimes you supposed to show them of library science experts, sometimes library science teacher experts, library as a librarian, working librarian expert. See, there are many various things are its content. So the find quality of the research is based on the and a betterment based on the various suggestions, various and additions, various deletions, and various editings. And simultaneously, I'll tell you one more thing to you. Uh, any research you take in India or whatever it may, there is no, already I spoke to, there is no specific. These research is superb. There is even superb research or wonderful research, or also we can edit, or also we can rectify the some errors, lacunas, and we have to refine the article, we have to refine the academic work, we have to refine the betterment of the for that particular work. That means research will be always we can change. Change means then a betterment, we can fight for that, we can try for that. But thing is, we may consider for the money, we may consider for the time, we may consider for the research, we may consider for the stipulated period. All those things we have to consider for that. That's what we said. హర్రీగా ఎందుకు చేస్తారు రీసెర్చ్ రిపోర్ట్ రాసేటప్పుడు అనేది టైం సరిపోలేదు. టైం సరిపోదంటే ఇన్ని రోజులు ఏం చేసారు మీరు? సరే ఏదో చేసినా, నేను ఇప్పుడు ఫైనల్ గా వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు సబ్మిట్ మై థీసిస్. సో హరిలో చేసి అనుకున్నంత స్థాయిలో రాయలేకపోతే, రీసెర్చ్ రిపోర్ట్ రాయలేకపోతే, what is the use for that? There is no use, Gada. So based on that, what we are doing is, what we have to do is, within that particular stipulated period, we have to plan, put into the systematic manner, put into the a reasonable research. Based on that, quality of the research we may expert. That research will be help to the society. The research will be help to the your profession. The research will help to the your particular institution. The research will be help to the your particular area of the people. So finally, what is my intention is, when we are going to submit your research report, it should be in a systematic and measurements we should apply in a systematic manner. We have to write, and all those things it may considered as a research report. Yeah, tell me what you understand of your research report. What is your intention of your research report? నేను ఏది పడితే అది ఏదో చెప్పినా మీరు ఏది పడితే అది వినడం కాదు. మీకేం అర్థమని చెప్పండి. మాట్లాడండి అమ్మా. హలో, మాట్లాడండి.
సార్ అది రీసెర్చ్ రిపోర్ట్ మనం రాసేటప్పుడు ఆ, 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 అంటే మార్జిన్స్ ఎలా ఉండాలి, ఆ, మళ్ళీ అవి బోల్డ్లో ఉండాలా, లేకపోతే ఇంకేమన్నా మళ్ళీ ఇంకొకసారి చెక్ చేసుకునే ఎర్రర్స్ ఉన్నాయా, మళ్ళీ మనం ఎక్కడి నుంచి మనము అంటే డేటా ఎక్కడి నుంచైనా మనం కలెక్ట్ చేసి ఉంటే అది మెన్షన్ చేయడం, రివ్యూ లిటరేచర్, ఇంకా టెక్నిక్స్ మనం ఏం యూజ్ చేసాం అవి.
చాప్టరైజేషన్ ఎట్లా చేస్తారు?
సార్
చాప్టరైజేషన్ ఎట్లా చేస్తారమ్మా? చాప్టరైజేషన్ ఎలా చేస్తారు? ఎన్ని చాప్టర్లు పెట్టుకోవచ్చు? ఆ చాప్టర్ ఏమేమి ఉంటుంది? అమ్మా, ఏం అర్థమైతే చెప్పండి. అంటే దేంట్లో ఏమి కంపల్సరీ ఇదే చెప్పాలా అదే చెప్పాలని, అండర్స్టాండ్ ద సేమ్ థింగ్ యూ హ్యావ్ టు సెట్.
చాప్టరైజేషన్ అనేది టేబుల్ ఆఫ్ కంటెంట్స్ లో వస్తుంది కదా సార్.
చాప్టర్ 1 ఏముంటుంది, చాప్టర్ 2 అనాలిసిస్ పార్ట్ ఏముంటుంది అండ్ అన్ని జస్ట్ ఐ స్పోక్ ద సేమ్ థింగ్.
హలో,
చెప్పండి అమ్మా, చెప్పండి. నేను చెప్పింది అర్థమైందా మీకు? 1 చాప్టర్ 1 చాప్టర్ 2 చాప్టర్ 3 ఏముంటుందమ్మా ఈ చాప్టర్లలో? ఏం రాస్తాం మనం చాప్టర్లలో? హలో, నేను మాట్లాడేది వినపడుతుందా అమ్మా?
వినిపిస్తుంది సార్.
నేను మాట్లాడేది వినపడుతుందా అమ్మా మీకు?
వినపడుతుంది సార్.
మరి ఎవరు ఏం తప్పుడు చేయట్లేదు అసలు. అంటే
మీ వాయిస్
ఈ
కూడా
చాప్టర్
బ్రేక్
1 చాప్టర్ 2
అవుతుంది సార్.
వినబడుతుంది.
డబుల్ వాయిస్ వస్తుందా?
వాయిస్ బ్రేక్
బ్రేక్
అవుతుంది
అవుతుంది.
సార్.
ఇప్పుడు చాప్టర్ 1 చాప్టర్ 2 చాప్టర్ 3 చాప్టర్ 4 ఇదంతా మనం చెప్పుకున్నాం కదా. దాంట్లో చాప్టర్ 1 వాట్ ఇట్ ఈస్ కంటైన్, చాప్టర్ 2 వాట్ ఇట్ ఈస్ కంటైన్, చాప్టర్ 3 వాట్ ఇట్ ఈస్ కంటైన్, and moreover page numbers what we are going to add it, where we are going to assign, and another one is subheadings, headings what we are going to follow, and sometimes when we are taking the bibliographical style, reference style, and all those things already I spoke to. The same thing you can express it, isn't it? Generalized మ్యాటర్ మనం మాట్లాడుకుంది ఇప్పటిదాకా. ఒక సిస్టమాటిక్ పేపర్, సైంటిఫిక్ పేపర్ ఎట్లా రాయాలి, ఎట్లా మనం ప్రజెంట్ చేయాలి, ఒక సైంటిఫిక్ ప్రాజెక్ట్ రిపోర్ట్ ఎట్లా సబ్మిట్ చేయాలి, థీసిస్ ఎట్లా సబ్మిట్ చేయాలి, రిపోర్ట్ లో ఏమేమి ఉంటాయి, ఇంట్రడక్షన్ ఎట్లా ఉంటుంది, టెర్మినల్ ఎట్లా ఉంటుంది, బాడీ ఆఫ్ ద రిపోర్ట్ ఎట్లా ఉంటుంది, రీరైట్ ఎట్లా చేయాలి, రీయూజ్ ఎట్లా చేయాలి, దాని ప్లానింగ్ ఎందుకు ఉండాలి, ఇదంతా కదా ఇప్పుడు మనం మాట్లాడుకుంటుంది. అవునా కాదా? అదే చెప్పాను నేను మీకు. ఏం పెద్దగా ఏమి దాంట్లో ఏం లేదు కదమ్మా. పోనీ అర్థమైందా? అది నేను ఏం చెప్పిందో అది అర్థమైందా?
సార్ మీ వాయిస్ బ్రేక్ అవుతుంది సార్ అసలు.
ఇప్పుడు కూడా బ్రేక్ అవుతుందా?
ఇప్పటి వరకు అయింది సార్.
నువ్వు ఏం లేదమ్మా, చాప్టర్ 1 లో కానీ, చాప్టర్ 2 లో కానీ, చాప్టర్ 3 లో కానీ మనం ఏమి పెట్టాలనుకున్నాం, ప్రొఫైల్స్ ఎక్కడ పెట్టాలనుకున్నాం, అపెండిక్స్ ఎక్కడ పెట్టాలనుకున్నాం, బిబ్లియోగ్రఫీలో ఏం రాయాలనుకున్నాం, రెఫరెన్స్ లో ఏం రాయాలనుకున్నాము, ప్లస్ మోర్ ఓవర్ రిఫరెన్స్ యొక్క స్టైల్స్, విచ్ స్టైల్స్ వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు యూజ్. అండ్ అనదర్ వన్ ఈస్ రీసెర్చ్ రిపోర్ట్ రాసేటప్పుడు ఇంట్రడక్షన్ లో ఏం రాయాలి, బాడీలో ఏం రాయాలి, టర్మినల్స్ లో ఏం రాయాలి, ప్లానింగ్ ఎట్లా ఉండాలి, రివైజ్ ఎట్లా చేయాలి, ఎడిటింగ్ ఎట్లా చేయాలి, అండ్ మోర్ ఓవర్ ఫైనల్లీ రీసెర్చ్ రిపోర్ట్ సబ్మిట్ చేసేటప్పుడు వాట్ ప్రజెంటేషన్ ఎట్లా చేయాలి, అండ్ 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 హెడ్డింగ్స్ ఎట్లా పెట్టాలి, బోల్డ్ లో పెట్టాలా, నార్మల్ పెట్టాలా, పేజీ నెంబర్స్ ఎట్లా పెట్టాలి, టేబుల్ ఆఫ్ కాంటెంట్ ఎట్లా ఉండాలి, టేబుల్ ఆఫ్ ఫిగర్స్ ఎట్లా ఉండాలి, అపెండిక్సెస్ ఎట్లా ఉండాలి, రోమన్ నెంబర్స్ ఎక్కడ పెట్టాలి, అరబిక్ న్యూమరల్స్ ఎక్కడ పెట్టాలి, అండ్ ఆల్ దోస్ థింగ్స్ వి డిస్కస్డ్ కదా. అదే నేను ఇప్పటిదాకా చెప్పింది, సేమ్ థింగ్ మీకు గుర్తున్న కాడికి చెప్పమని చెప్పినాను అంతే నేను. ఇప్పుడు అర్థమైందా నేను చెప్పింది? క్లియర్గా వచ్చిందా నా వాయిస్?
సార్ వచ్చింది
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
అమ్మా ఇంకా
విన్-
ఏమైనా వాయిస్ డిస్టర్బ్ ఉందా?
లేదు సార్, వినిపిస్తుంది.
అంటే సేమ్ థింగ్ ఇదే కదా మనం ఇప్పటిదాకా మాట్లాడుకున్నది. ఇంకేమైనా ఎక్స్ట్రా
హెడ్డింగ్స్
ఉన్నదా?
హెడ్డింగ్స్ బోర్డ్ లో పెట్టమన్నారు కదా సార్. హెడ్డింగ్స్ బోర్డ్ లో పెట్టాలి, సబ్ హెడ్డింగ్స్ వాటి కింద
ఆ,
వచ్చేటట్టు చూసుకోవాలి. ఇంకా మనకి హెడ్డింగ్స్ అంటే ఒక పేజ్ మిడిల్ లో అయిపోతే అక్కడ కాకుండా నెక్స్ట్ పేజ్ నుంచి మళ్ళీ స్టార్ట్ చేయమన్నారు.
ఓకే.
ఆ,
షుడ్ వి ఎనీ అసైన్ ఫర్ ది హెడ్డింగ్స్ అండ్ సబ్ హెడ్డింగ్స్ ఇన్ ద టేబుల్? ఏమైనా పేజ్ నెంబర్స్ అసైన్ చేస్తామా దీనికి?
పేజ్ నెంబర్స్
చెక్ కంటెంట్
In the
పేజ్ లో
table of
రాస్తాం.
the no, in the table of the content, or we can say that in the table of figure, we supposed to mention the auto. The same thing ఏం లేదు దాంట్లో పెట్టాలి కదమ్మా, పెట్టకపోతే ఎట్లా చెప్పండి? లిస్ట్
సబ్
ఆఫ్
హెడింగ్స్
ఫిగర్స్, లిస్ట్ ఆఫ్
అప్పర్ లోవర్ లెటర్స్
పేజ్ నెంబర్ రాయాలి.
yes పేజ్ నెంబర్స్ రాయాలి. అండ్ అపెండిక్స్ ఆల్సో యూ షుడ్ సపోర్ట్ టు మెన్షన్. అంతే కదా. ఇంకేమన్నా ఇంకా మళ్ళీ వాట్ యు బి హౌ టు డూ ఈస్ appendixes. I said regarding question is regarding the paper presentation, paper publication, profiles of the institutions also you should add in the appendix. Ante kada. The same thing what we discussed today. Ante kada amma. ఇంకేమైనా ఉండిందా?
స్ప్లిట్ అవుతున్నాయి సార్ వర్డ్స్ అంతా.
ఏంటి
హలో,
ఏమైందమ్మా?
బ్రేక్ మధ్యలో బ్రేక్ అవుతుంది సార్. వాయిస్ వినిపిస్తుంది, అప్పుడప్పుడు వినిపిస్తుంది సౌండ్.